Okay. So today we are doing, we're not doing Five Guys, we're eating Five Guys. It still doesn't sound right. We're doing Five Guys. I love Five Guys. Made me think of a story time. Of course. It's not really even like a story time, but it reminded me of this time that I worked at. I'll tell you in a bit. I gotta open the windows up. I'm hot, boo-boo. I know I still haven't fixed my AC because there's bigger fish that we have to fry. There's bigger fish that we have to fry when it comes to bills. And okay, so I've always wanted to try their grilled cheese. It looks pretty basic. Pass. So, I'll show you in a bit. Ah! Oh my god. I just want to complete anonymity, but of course there's someone parked right here, right next to me, where I wanted to park. What are you doing in your car alone in an empty parking lot? Me, I'm eating. And we got a small Cajun fry because the big one is just too much. Ooh. Oh my god, y'all. So I used to really love Five Guys. And not as much anymore, just because it's so overpriced that I just don't think it's all that. I have to put my hair up, but I just don't think it's all that, you know, like it used to be. It kind of fell off. So I got a little container for the ketchup. So I was thinking about all the different jobs I've had throughout my life. And y'all, I've had a lot of different jobs. The job that I'm at now, I believe is, I mean, I know I'm missing some too, but I've had under 20 jobs. Over 15, under 20. I know. And I remember I used to work out in this far west suburb. It was like in Bufu. It would take me an hour to get to work. I don't know why I did it. The money seemed good, but it wasn't shit after taxes. This is basic. Like, if you have kids and you go to Five Guys, just get a grilled cheese. But I was in love, like I usually am. Everyone knew it too. But like, I had a lot of crushes, but I never acted on them there. But he was like the main one. And everyone knew how goo goo gaga I was over like guys. Don't put your business out there. So one day we were talking about Five Guys and I was like, I'll never forget it. My love interest burned my soul. We were talking about Five Guys. And I go, I love Five Guys. And this guy was like, we know you do. Well, I had no comeback still to this day because I was like, you're not wrong. Oh, it was definitely more than 5. You know, looking back on my life, I don't know why I was always such a thirsty bitch for attention from dudes. Right? I'm like, why? Okay. So remember the book haul I did? I think I figured out what I've been doing wrong in life. Oh, wow. This looks thick, y'all. So I got a cheeseburger with pickles, tomato, jalapenos, and hot sauce. So I guess the whole secret, and I'm just starting to read this book, is that most people, such as myself, focus on the things that they don't want. You have to focus on the things you do want in order to attract those things. Common sense, right? As someone with ADHD and OCD, and hella intrusive thoughts, you know how my mind works? Okay, don't think about this. Don't think about what you don't want. Okay, now you're thinking about what you don't want. So it's like my mind just fucks itself because it's just like, okay, I don't want shitty friends or shitty people in my life. And they keep popping up, right? Because I keep focusing on what I don't want. But man, I'll tell you, fake love, man. In the words of Drake, I've had so many people, especially coworkers, show fake ass love. Like, when you get older, your coworkers are not your friends. And I say that because when I was younger, in my teen years, a lot of my friendships that lasted over 10 years, I either met those people through work or through school. And to be honest with you, out of those handful of people, there's only probably like 2 or 3 that I still talk to. But in your 20s, don't open up to your coworkers. Don't hang out with your coworkers. Don't drink with your coworkers. Keep it surface level if you do. Boundaries, bro. So when I was working out in this west suburb for a very well-known insurance company, doing a decently paid dead-end job, there were people like me who were out of college doing their thing, and then there were the older people who were in their 40s and 50s who had families and, you know, were working to pay the bills, as we all do. You would think, being older and having human children, that you're grown. Bro, high school never ends. And this shit was high school. No. let me just say the caveat to what I was saying earlier, that by me talking about these things, I'm kind of focusing on the things that I don't want. But I've noticed that whenever I do talk to y'all about a story, I let it go after that. Like, this is truly cathartic. And it's kind of like my therapy time where I share these stories and I let them go. And they really don't bother me as much, if at all, anymore. Now, this shit really got to me because this was like 2000. I started this job in 2016 and I quit in 2018. So this was, I had been there for 2 years at this point. This was going into 2018. Maybe 2017. The year is important because I was such a great worker that I got accolades for being a top performer. But then that bit me in the ass and they slammed more work onto me to the point where it was impossible. And it was exhausting and I just couldn't work there anymore. I'm like, this is not worth it. If I can apply this much energy to a dead-end job, I can do something else. My own thing, which I've been working on since those years ago. So I was on a team, and when I came onto that team, I've been working there for several months, and the team started doing better. It probably was like 10 people in the group. And one of them was this guy named Manny. Yes, I'm gonna call you out because you deserve the recognition for being such a shithead. A two-faced fucking shithead. To give you a visual, he was this like 300-pound overweight guy, bald guy. If I were to compare him to anybody, I would compare him to, I don't know the name of the actor, but I'll try and put a picture right here. But that guy's funny. Like, this guy, he was funny and he was lovable. But he would say a lot of dickhead things. Now, he's one of the few people that I met throughout my life that I noticed will say mean and hurtful things. But they'll just pass it off with, like, just kidding. Like, he would always say some fucked up ass shit. I don't even want to, like, dwell on it. It would just be shady. And then they would just be like, ha ha ha, he just kidding. Pet peeve number 2. And I think I was always jealous of those people because if I were to do that, because I sound so satirical already, people be like, you're not joking, you're just being a bitch, you know? But there's some people who can pull it off so effortlessly. There was some serious shade, say some fucked up ass shit and be like, oh, you're too sensitive. I was just kidding, you know? So, you know, we would all talk about him like, hey, you know, Manny's cool, but he was just really negative. He would always freak the fuck out and have, like, panic attacks. Because we were in the claims department, the auto claims department. So you know how stressful that shit is. Now, a lot of these people had been there for several years, so I had just gotten there like I was a newer person. So it was Manny, Maria, and Brandon. We would go to lunch. And Maria just looked like a fat Mexican Cabbage Patch doll. Like, she wasn't ugly, but there was just this energy about her that I didn't really fuck with. Now, one day, because I was a top performer and I knew my shit, Manny calls me over to his area. Bro, I couldn't believe it. And he's asking me for help. While he's asking me for help, I see an IM, because we would IM each other. Now, I couldn't really read it too well. And it had looked like he was the one saying this stuff, but I guess it was Maria. He was asking her if she wanted to come with, you know, to lunch, and she asked who was going. Now, the name wasn't there. I guess, like, I had assumed it was about me. But I wasn't for sure, you know? Well, Maria was talking shit, saying like, oh, no thanks. She seems like a bubblehead. Like, I don't do bubblehead, you know? And I'm reading it. Now, I don't know what that's about me, but I have a strong sense that it was. So he didn't realize that, you know, I was trying not to look at it while he was looking at me. And I still helped him. So then, I obviously didn't want to go to lunch. I could have kept it to myself, but he was guilty. He was like, why aren't you coming? Come on, I'll treat you. He knew. Deep down, he knew. So I had told Brandon. Now, Brandon was friends with Manny and Maria. And he basically was the instigator to it. And told Manny that I knew that they were talking shit. He told both of them that I knew that they were talking shit. But I never said, like, oh, they were talking about me. I was like, I saw this, I am. But, like, they confirmed it. Oh, my God. The next day, Manny brought me coffee. And he was trying to be apologetic. But he was, like, he was digging himself deeper into the hole. Where he was like, oh, you know, she says things like that. And I shouldn't have laughed at it. Because he was saying, like, LOL. And, like, just going along with it. Yeah, she said stuff like that before. I'm like, bro. And, like, at the time, I just didn't want to deal with it because we were on the same team together. And I was like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, we all talk shit, you know? But then Maria tried to come up to me. And she was, like, being apologetic. And I just looked at her like, you know, let this be a lesson not to judge a book by its cover. And I should have just left it at that. But then, all of a sudden, we tried to become friends. And obviously, that went downhill. Like, I wish I had just cut them off at that point. But I think that was, like, the opening door for Brandon to be like, oh, we can all get along, you know? But that day that I saw that shit, I had truly felt like the world was out to get me. I was like, I'm so nice to these people. I help these people. Like, this guy was asking me for help. And that's how you treat me? Wow. And I remember going out to the car on my lunch and crying my eyes out to my ex. I'm a sensitive soul. I cried everything. And, like, that was just a boiling point because I just felt like hot sauce. I'm still getting over my cold. I'm feeling better though. I just felt like I couldn't do anything right. I remember calling my ex and, like, he wasn't an emotional person. He didn't know how to be there for me emotionally. So he was just like, I don't know what the big deal is. Because I was just trying to be friendly with people. And, like, I realized that people are just shady. Whoever in the car is definitely smoking weed. Or filming a mukbang. Man. Get yourself a small fry, because this small is still a lot. But, you know, I let it go. I mean, I'll never forget it, and it's like one of those things. So Five Guys reminded me of that job. Yeah. And it just got to a point where I was like, I don't want to work with these people anymore. This one lady who was in her 60s was like, if you don't leave now, you're going to end up like me. Like, go. I have no other choice. So if you can avoid being in a dead-end job, please do it. I peaced out. Shout out to my girl, though. Her name was Julie. She was my boss, and she was an aspiration. Inspiration, aspiration. She was just a badass bitch who just, like, I said, like, I want to be Julie Wright when I grow up. What a badass bitch, bro. She was a cool boss. Like, it was a good job when I had cool bosses. And then when they quit, and I had to be stuck with those assholes, I was like, oh, hell no, I'm leaving. Well, thanks for listening to my story about Five Guys and working with shitheads. But, you know, even though I've had a lot of jobs, I'm at the best place right now. And honestly, growing up is just learning how to navigate the assholes and try not to be an asshole, like, period. See you next time.